and welcome to the Everyday Board Game Podcast with your host, Daniel.
And Daniel.
Hey, Daniel, just curious, why'd you start chuckling all of a sudden?
Because the face you were making in the camera after our conversation last week.
Yeah, right. No, I got to give you some kind of guff, just because. Quite simple. Right before we started recording, he said, "Hey, don't give me guff for my resting blank face."
RBF.
Yeah. And I was like, all right, well then don't make it. And so while he was staring at the camera waiting for our cue, I was doing the same things. So if you notice that in the podcast, that's what I was doing. Sorry, just trying to crack him up right before the episode. But we're in a festive spirit, I think, here.
Yeah, I still bring horror to Christmas.
That's right. And you can look around the Everyday Board Games HQ right here. We're all decorated up. Hey, Chaos.
How's it going, Crate?
If you are, we do want to be very clear first off, right before we begin the episode. Mm-hmm. Whatever holiday you do or don't celebrate, these are great little,
gift ideas.
So if you want to get a gift for somebody, these are great ones. Regardless of what time of the year it is, they are not specifically holiday themed, necessarily, at least.
A couple of mine are holiday themed.
Yeah, mine are not, but that's fine.
But we both celebrate Christmas. I don't think either one of us are super religious because but it is one of what our family celebrates, so we celebrate it.
Absolutely.
But
and
honestly,
these are my go-to games that I would be giving as a gift.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
Is great.
And a relatively decent price. None of them are super expensive. Like I said, I think my highest one is like $30. But
I think mine's 20, 25, something like that.
But the thing is, with when we do stockings in my family, it's just about the size of the gift rather than size of the gift rather than the price of the gift. Like I've put video games in my wife's stocking because they just fit better in there than they would wrapped under the tree. Yep. That's sometimes the best way to my wife loves to play her Switch, it's real easy to put Switch games in the stocking.
That's right.
So,
yeah, exactly. You don't have to go cheap, but really these are good bang for your buck.
Yeah, exactly. That's the big thing, is that they're bang for your buck. We've done that topic before.
That's right, yes. And we want to also clarify, or at least I want to clarify, right before the episode, I did go online and I confirmed that available through Miniature Market or Amazon, one of the two, that all of these are actually available right now to buy. But if they are available at your local game store, get them there first.
Yeah, and I also did that too. I went not just there. I also checked if you wanted to go onto their actual physical website that you can buy them on there too. Yep. There's that. Barnes & Noble, Target, I saw them on their stuff, as well as your local game store. So these are easily accessible stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. All right, so we definitely want to go through this. Now, I know you put them in order. I did not, just because I was more concerned about properly stuffing my stocking, which has been contentious amongst when I came in here. I will say all of them do fit in said stocking, although albeit a little cattywampus. I'm glad the glare is not picking up this game that happens to be.
The thing about it is the boxes I have are pretty large compared to some of the stuff. I think the one that's sticking out is your largest box.
That is my largest one. Yes.
Yeah, I have
that's why I put it up top.
2 or 3 that actually equals that size.
Your top one right over there, no spoilers, is bigger than mine, for sure. We will compare, but yours is bigger than mine.
I think it's a little wider, but I think yours is taller because I know what game that is.
We're just comparing size. I'm sorry, Dad. If you just tuned in, we are talking about the size of games that are fitting in said stockings. No other connotation involved in that. Illuminus says everyone loves a watermelon game. We have some other recommendations. If anybody else has any that I will not say what everyone is saying in the chat. Sorry, you have a good one. But some of the suggestions was Illuminus was suggesting Scout, Arboretum, and Love Letter, and Curie AI or I. Curie I. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, so forgive me. Ithri says
How's it going?
Owls. Hey, Ithri.
How's it going, Ithri?
Don't put those emojis on, those suggestive emojis on our chat. Great. How dare you?
And she's our mod.
So, yeah, right. She's our mod. What are we saying? So, anybody, by all means, if you're in the chat right now, post what you think are great stocking stuffers for you in the chat right there. Daniel, before we get into it today, what have you been playing, sir?
Oh man, we've been playing quite a bit. Actually, most of the games I'm going to talk about, except for one, were part of that game day we did on Sunday when we were talking about we had 3 game days within 7 days of each other, which was nice. It was so much fun. I'm talking about 3 of them that we played within that area.
Although I still call shenanigans on that game day.
Actually, 2 of them came from that game day. 1 of them came from the game day beforehand.
Shenanigans, I said. No, and to clarify, I mean, it was a great game day. All the games were fun.
Yeah.
However, we all conveniently... Hey, So Very Wrong. Thanks for
How's it
joining
going,
us.
So Very?
So, we all conveniently picked 1 game each.
Mm-hmm.
And I brought a bag, you had your game room, our friends brought a bag, and while we were waiting, we chose that one of our mutual friends would pick. So we were waiting for him to show up.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, well, let's just play a quick game while we're waiting. And we played a 2.5-minute game.
We played it twice, so it was 5 minutes.
So 5 minutes worth. We played that, and that was the only game I got to the table that night. These guys are busting out 2-hour games.
Hey, mine was like an hour and a half at the most.
5 minutes.
The other one, the thing about it is the one that killed us was the 3rd game that day.
Yes.
Because that took nearly 3 hours.
Yes. Yep. I should have brought a 3-hour game. And I should have just waited. That's all.
So the first game I'm going to talk about, and this is the kind of spoilers for what our top 8 debate is going to be next month, that which will actually land on New Year's Day.
Mm-hmm.
But this is going to be a hard game to beat for my top 2023 games, because this one I thoroughly loved, and this was Earth. We got this to the table the Wednesday before that Sunday game night, because that was my pick. Finally got my copy played. You and our mutual friend Dom had both kind of played it beforehand.
Yeah, we had played an almost full game at the convention the first time we had seen it. It was like a pre-production copy.
And I have to say, that does to engine building that I really want engine building to do. It was so quick. It was so fast. It was still a relatively decently length game. I still think it took us about an hour and a half.
Yeah, it takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah, it was up there, but you're engaged the entire time.
Yeah.
Even when it's not your turn, because whenever someone chooses an action, you get to do a secondary action of the same type, and you're still triggering all your other tags that match that. So if you're doing like a watering action, I take the bottom part of it, but I'm also getting to trigger all my blue cards that I have in my tableau. It is super, super fun. I had every wherewithal thinking that I knew I would like it, because I love engine builders. But I think this is going to hurt Terraforming Mars in my book, because I really do.
Oh, by far.
I do love that game, but the length of it, this one plays a lot quicker.
Yep.
It does a lot of the same things that I like in Terraforming Mars. I do like some of the aspects that Terraforming has with some of their expansions, where you get a little bit more, you have random starting aspects of it. This has that a little bit. But another thing, it looks like that it's a big, big game, and which it is. But it's actually one of the simplest engine builders I've ever played. When we talk about like next level games or a gateway game or something like that, this wouldn't be my gateway engine builder. I think that would still be like Gizmos or something like that.
Yeah.
But this is that next step. So like for me, it would be this, then or it would be Gizmos, then Earth. Then you can, once you figure out how to do those really well, then you can go to something like Wingspan or Terraforming Mars. I think this is that next ramp up of it, and it's, oh man, I am really gonna have a good time when we start debating this game, because it was really, really good.
And also, so Sora was in the chat this last Saturday at our game night at the local shop. I taught Sora along with 3 other players how to play this. And when I brought it out, I was like, guys, look, this is gonna be the highlight of the night. Okay, this is the one I'm focusing on. This is the one I'm gonna teach everybody. And I actually had a theme of pretty games. I brought out Century Spice Road, Trekking Through History, and Earth.
Well, why'd you bring out Spice Roads when Gollum is such a prettier
I don't
game?
have a demo. But regardless. No, I brought that out, and everyone, I really do want to try Daybreak. That's on my list of ones I want to play.
Same.
But I brought it out, and everyone very hesitantly walked by it a little bit. I'm like, guys, I'm going to recommend this. This is the game I really do recommend you guys try. And they're like, okay, like, and kind of like, bit the bullet kind of thing, right? And I sat down, I'm like, guys, look, I'll be honest with you, it looks intimidating. Hang out with me for like 5-10 minutes while I teach you the game. Then once you understand what these icons are trying to say, then it's going to make a lot more sense. And I promise you it's going to make way more sense than it looks like it is right now. There's a lot to take in, but go with it, and we'll be rolling in like 10 minutes.
Yep.
30 minutes later, There was 3 players, and a 4th player walked in, one of their friends, and that one of them, Sora, taught her how to play it on the spot while I was teaching another game.
Nice.
30 minutes into the introductory game, Sora taught it.
Like I said, it looks like a lot, but it's actually quite simple.
Yes. It's a medium weight, in my opinion.
Yeah, a true medium weight. Don't look at the Board Game Geek stuff.
Right.
People would call this easy weight.
It's just as complex as Castles of Burgundy.
Yes. It's not that complex, but it is, like I said, that's why I say it's like a next step engine builder. Gizmos, then to this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then this will bridge you to like a Terraforming Mars or to a Wingspan or something like those heavier engine builders.
Yes. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. No, that's a really good pick. In fact, that was my number 1 as well that I wanted to talk about. Yeah, because not only did I play it that Wednesday, I played it again that following Friday with a mutual friend of ours.
Yeah.
And I told him, I try not to hype up games when I'm about to do it. But I told him right before, I was like, honestly, dude, I really think you're going to like this. This screams your style. And I rarely see him get analysis paralysis, but he did tell me partway through the game, he was like, this is the kind of game that can get really out of hand if you let it. I was like, yeah, I know. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah,
but I was like, but you're not. But you have the choice to go, you know what? I'm just going to go for these few cards.
Yeah.
And then 30 minutes into that, he had like a hand of cards where he had them in order. He's like, I'm going to do that, then that, then that. I have a game plan.
Mm-hmm.
And he took it and he destroyed me. He got a higher score than any of us did.
Yeah,
on that
I get it.
It was crazy.
And the thing about it, when we played it, I had set myself up. I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do real quick, and then I got a card out there. Is like, hey, if you get the mushroom tag diagonal to this card, and so at that point, I'm like, okay, that's gonna score me like 20 points if I get all 4 spots, because it's 5 points for each of the diagonal spots.
Right.
If I get all 4 spots, I'm putting this here, and now I know there's a mushroom there and I got a mushroom there, so now I just got to tag it elsewhere. I found out I had a Sprouts card that has every tag on it, and I'm like, yes, this works. And I put it into the starting up basically my 4th column because it's a 4x4 grid, but it just worked. It played really well. The score was actually pretty close with all of us. I thoroughly enjoyed it. This is a fantastic game.
It really is. It's up there with, it's one of my top 2 of the year. Right now.
Spoilers. It's one of my top 2 of the year.
One of my top 2 of the year.
It's one of my top 2 of the year. Actually, my other one's on here too.
Cool. All right.
Like I said, I rarely give 10s.
Yes.
I have given 2 10s this year so far.
Mm-hmm. And that was one of them.
Yeah, and the other one's on here too.
Yep.
So.
What's your next one?
But that's not the one I'm going to talk about. We'll get to that in a little bit. But the one I did want to talk about is a game that I picked up from you, part of your purge.
Ooh.
I did want to play this. I've been wanting to play it because our friend... our mutual friend Dom keeps talking about it. This one is Half Truth. It's a trivia game created by Richard Garfield and Ken Jennings. Ken Jennings is the guy who's well known for winning a lot of Jeopardy games. He's now the host of Jeopardy. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, okay, I'll try this out. It's really interesting because what you're going to do, it's basically betting trivia in a sense of all our wits and wagers and stuff like that. So you have a card that tells you like such and such is going on, and it gives you 6 answers. 3 are true, and 3 are wrong. Yep. And so you're going to roll a die, and depending on what the die says, that's what your points are you going to score for that card. That
if you get at least one correct.
If you get at least one correct. However, you can gamble and say, I think it's these 2. Or you could super gamble. I forget what it's the actual term is, where you could bet all 3 of your tokens and saying, I think all 3 of these are correct.
Yep.
If you get it one correct, if you only bet one and get it correct, you score whatever the die roll is.
Yes.
If you score both correct, then you get a die roll and you get a permanent point. You normally don't score your points until the end of the round because you're just going to keep going up until someone hits 7 and then it's going to change the round. Mm-hmm. You keep doing that, and if you go 3, you get to keep 2 things. But going back to the die roll, that actually changes things up too. So you're normally it's like you get 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, and I think there's a 4 point. 4. Yeah. So that tells you how many you score if you get 1 correct. If you get all 3 correct, you're still going to get whatever the die says plus the permanent points that go to you basically into your victory point pool. However, if you get any of those wrongs, you get nothing.
Yep.
And 2. There's a part of the die roll that actually will boost your bonuses.
Yep.
So if you get the 1 extra correct, then you get 2 points instead of 1. If you get 2 correct, you get 4 points instead of 2. And then the one that I really enjoyed is that you got to find the wrong answers for the cards.
And some of them are more obvious
than others. Yeah. And its thing is there's like 6 different packs of cards in there and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I
there's
actually busted
crazy
out a
amounts.
pack that you hadn't even unsealed yet.
No.
And I was like, this
I only ever went through the first one, and
Yeah.
I only made it part way through.
Yeah, I just grabbed one, and I was just like, let's just do this one. And there were some that were really easy for me. Like, there was one where it's asking, like, which are the tennis grand slams, or which of these 6 are tennis grand slams. I'm like, well, I don't really follow tennis, but I know the grand slams, because those are the ones you see all the time. So and then we had rolled the extra die where it gave you the extra points. Mm-hmm. So I put all 3 out there, and I got 4 extra points, and I still got my normal point, because I think it's 1 point, and then you get your bonus points is what it happens. So the scoring only gave me 1 point. However, I got 4 points to put in my pool because I got the bonus.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I really enjoy it. It's actually to the point where I showed it to just a group of friends. They're getting ready to, they own their own business. They're getting ready to do their company picnic. She borrowed that one and fun facts for her company picnic.
Good choice. Well, and see, like I said, I have so many trivia games that I do enjoy, and that was just yet another one. I was like, I didn't need to have that one in addition to these, but I do still really enjoy it.
No.
And I will play it next time you want to play it.
Yeah, no, I enjoy it a lot. It's very fun. It holds up to what?
6 players?
Yeah, 6 I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and it still works well with 2 even. I mean,
it worked well in a group of 4. We were going to play it with 5, but the other person had to leave with her kids, so we just like, okay, let me just try this.
Components.
Yeah, it's a heavy game for such a small box.
Yeah, it's dense. The box is full to the brim.
And not only that, just because of the cards, but because they give you like almost clay poker chips for your betting and stuff like that. So yeah, no, it's fun. Half Truth.
Yep, exactly. All right, the next one I want to talk about is a game that I hadn't played in a really long time. Our mutual friend came over last Friday, and my wife, I asked her, as I do every Friday, hey, you want to play a game with us? And she was like, I'm like, well, my offer still stands. If you do want to play, you get a pick. You know, I'm not. You get to pick whatever one sounds interesting. She was like, cool, and she did, actually, which is rare. Very rare, and I couldn't appreciate her more for it.
Splendor?
No, Pandemic.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and it had been a while, so we're like, okay, we'll just go standard mode. You know, we don't want to like fight that hard. Oh my God, did we get destroyed? We got 1 cured.
Oh,
1.
Wow!
And
on
we lost to
mode?
outbreaks.
Jeez.
On the very last outbreak, it was actually 4. Like we got destroyed.
Wow.
In that game. Oh my goodness, have we not done that bad? And then we all just kind of like sat down when we were done. We're like, okay, so we're a bit rusty, but oh my God.
Yeah, well, I think the last time you played a Pandemic game was
I played it in January, I think, of this year, but it was just a one and done, real quick one.
Okay, because I was like, I don't remember you
Prior
talking
to
about
that, it was like 2015.
Well, the base one. I'm talking about like because you haven't done any Pandemic really since the Legacies ended.
No, very few. I might have played like one of the mini ones, but either way, I mean like.
Well, the last Pandemic I played was the Clone Wars one.
Oh yeah, which I do want to try that. Yeah, Pandemic. Exactly. You know Pandemic, right? Because I've made you play it. It was my fault. No, we got just decimated. It was brutal. If this was a Legacy game, we would have torn up half of the components we played with. That's how bad it was.
Yeah, so it's funny. That reminds me of the time. We were showing games off. We were doing games like at NMSU. It was me, Gamehead Geek. We're just like a big group of our friends. We went to Corbett Center to play games there. Mm-hmm. And he was teaching to one group Pandemic.
Yeah.
And he's like, so they were telling us, and after the game's over, they're like, yeah, we got decimated. I'm like, okay, well, would you put them on easy mode because they're not normal players, or did you put them on normal mode? Oh, I just put them on normal mode. Okay, well, how'd they get so decimated? And so I was going through the deck. He had all 6 cards in there. He put them on hard mode.
I did?
No.
No, the guy who played it,
yeah, Gamehead Geek set it up, and he put all 6 Pandemic cards in there.
Yeah, that's what did it.
Yeah, and they just got decimated. Because I'm like, how are you guys already done?
Yeah. It's like, it's not a 15-minute game, guys.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
Everything happens right.
Because me and the wife were playing Summoner Wars. It's the first time I ever played Summoner Wars. And we're all like, okay, I read the rules. I taught her how to play the game. We were like middle of the game. They had already been playing for like, I think it was like 15 minutes. I'm like, okay, they'll be a little bit, so we could just concentrate on this game.
Sure.
we made like our second or third move, and they're like, okay, we're done. What else can we play? And
Right.
I'm like, wait, how are you guys already done?
Yeah, that's pretty funny. That's hilarious. I was like, no, it was.
When we
great to
talk
get
about
this
like
back to the
memorable
table.
moments in our top 8 debate, that's one of those
That's
things
one
I
of them.
always remember.
There was one time in one of our Legacy games. I don't want to like give spoilers of how the Legacy works because it wasn't, but it was one of the first Legacy. Many times we're out,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember one of the times we played it because of how everything laid out. We lost after one round. We all took one turn and lost.
I believe it.
Like,
sometimes those legacy, man.
It hurts. It hurt.
And the thing about it too, with like the legacies, if you do really, really well, the game makes it harder for you to succeed the next couple games.
Yep.
So there was at one point where
sometimes.
Yeah. I'm talking about the original Pandemic where we did really well and we won several games in a row. We had to take out a lot of stuff out of the deck, and it just made it where we were just like, we're going to get decimated. We just knew we were going to get decimated because a lot of the good stuff we needed was gone.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, good times, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of Pandemic, what's your next game?
All right, my next game is the other 10 that I've given this year so far. I know you're not as enamored with this game.
No.
But I
would give it a 7. No, well, I don't know, probably 7.5.
But I think the issue with you and me is that it already took a great system and put a really good co-op game.
It took a good system.
Oh, I love
and made an AI for it.
Yeah, I get that. But it made it fun, and it gave people who don't like the tacticalness of Unmatched, where you're fighting another player and giving them they like the feel of Unmatched, but they don't like having to fight other players, especially if those other players are really big and good at this game. Like me and my mutual friend Dom play this a lot, or our mutual friend Dom. We all own everything, and so playing against like my wife who plays it like once or twice, she would get decimated. Like the one time I played him, I tried the Bruce Lee because I wanted to try how it worked. Mm-hmm. Destroyed all 3 of them in a free for all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it just like because I knew how to use I have never played him before, but I've played enough Unmatched to know how to use my cards. Yep. This is a good way to teach the Unmatched system, and then you can transition them into the head-to-heads. And I like that, and that's the reason why I rate it so highly. It already took a system I thoroughly enjoy. Yep. I've already rated one other part of this series a 10 as well, and that's the Cobble and Fog, just because I love the way those guys work.
Yeah.
But then it put a fun game on top of it with the co-ops, and I like the one we ended up playing. Still haven't played the Mothman yet.
Yeah, the Mars one.
The alien invasion was really cool. It's like how it's putting all the little aliens
I love that campy theme. That's great stuff.
I love the fact that they're going campy. And I love the fact that you can integrate everything you've had so far into the co-op system. And the 4 characters that it give you in the co-op system, you can take to the head-to-head system. And I really did enjoy what it did. It has a lot of interesting motives, like the 4 new characters. We were researching them as we were playing because none of us really heard those characters. Our friend Gamehead Geek was playing the Golden Bat, so we looked up how that one came about. That he literally is the first superhero. He was in comics in 1930 something, and
like just a few years
before Superman came out in 1938. Excuse me.
Gesundheit Schnitzel. Anyway, so I mean there's a co-op system to the Unmatched game. Yeah. And it is fully compatible with all of them. And the new characters they picked were interesting.
I liked them too, like Annie Christmas.
Because I played as Nikola Tesla.
Yeah, and I liked some of the stuff. Yeah, I liked some of the stuff he did. I liked Annie Christmas, who is a folklore hero from like the Louisiana area. Yeah. Who was the other one I was trying to think of that? Jill Trent. She was also a comic book character, really sci-fi, campy sci-fi. And I'm like, she's the perfect character when you're dealing with like the Roswell aliens and stuff like that, the flying saucers. So I really did enjoy this game, and honestly, I want them to do another box of this, but like with the Marvel stuff. This way, you can put your Marvel characters in there and make sense. But like I told the group, I'm like, I want to play this again as the Mothman versus the Mothman, and I'm playing Bigfoot fighting Mothman. Yeah. So I really did enjoy it. Unmatched Tales to Amaze.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it didn't improve the game for me. Oh. I like Unmatched just fine. I really do, because I own a couple of characters too, which.
You own 2 characters.
Which is 2 more than I
originally
necessarily need to. Yeah, I mean You guys all have it all, so
Yeah,
why
exactly.
do I need it? But there's Houdinis, and that's amazing. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, maybe 7.5, 8. I like it.
I'm interested
But
that they're going to do a Shakespeare set.
that would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, it's like, imagine playing Magic the Gathering, right? And they create a co-op variant, right? Where you're all battling one big guy. I feel like this feels very similar to that idea. They just stick in it. They found a way to make a pretty fluid. I don't mean to downplay it, like, because I mean this as a compliment. But they found a way to make a fluid AI system, but it doesn't change the feeling for it for me. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
It's
it changed it a lot for me because instead of like, oh that's a really cool power, and what I really did like, I know you
Right.
complained about it, was the initiative track. And I know our friend Gamehead Geek was complaining about it too because he's like, I took the first action in this round, I'm taking the fourth action. I'm like, yeah, but that just gives everybody equal opportunity because if you keep taking the first
Sure.
action, and you keep punching the things down, now I can't. My whole thing is I got to move to go find someone else to hit.
I mean, I didn't care about the track. I get his argument.
Mm-hmm.
The initiative track was fine.
I liked it.
I don't see any disadvantage to it, and I like how it was bad stuff. I am used to co-ops that do some good stuff, do some bad stuff the next turn, and that's different for this. And I like the theme and everything. It's just that for some reason there was something about it that all the extra work didn't benefit the payoff that I was hoping it would.
Oh no, I love it.
was hoping it would elevate the game for me. I'll be like, I need to buy Tales to Amaze. I'm fine not owning it.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Honestly, you have all the freaking Funko games, so.
That's true.
And who often plays that with you?
No one.
I can get people to play on Match with me.
Because you force them.
No.
You choose it on your pick.
No.
No, that's why. Yeah.
Well, I chose that one on my pick, but Dom is always down to
my
play.
next pick, I'm bringing my whole case then.
Okay, that's
We're all
fine.
playing massive amounts of Funkoverse.
We're gonna call that an early night.
See what I mean? Shenanigans, I say. There you go. This is a 5-minute board game all over again. We played it twice. Anyway.
Hey, you're the only one that got to play your game twice, so.
You're not wrong. The next game I wanted to talk about, speaking of really long involved games, I played Llama the other day. Taught my friend how to play it because he had only ever seen how to play the Llama Dice version.
Which is the better version.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's more exciting for sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's more random, but also more exciting at the same time.
Yeah. Sometimes randomness is good. I know it was a knock when we were talking about like Santa versus Krampus and Dice Throne last week, but sometimes randomness gives it a little bit more juice to the squeeze to the juice. You know what I mean?
Squeeze to the juice.
Yeah, I forget what it's
How
called.
you squeeze juices?
You can.
I mean that's.
I mean it's gonna skirt up.
What kind of tiny fruits are you squeezing here, sir? Anyway, this has gone off the rails. We're done. We're canceled. No, Llama. It's originally the card game that was nominated for the Spiel des Jahres that nobody had heard about until it got nominated, and then I picked up a copy. This is a Uno killer for me, hands down. Real simple. There's numbers 1 through 6.
There's a lot of Uno killers for me, and this is not one of them.
But this is my go-to game that as soon as somebody says, I love playing Uno, awesome. Keep love playing Uno. You want to see another game that I like just as well? And they're like, sure. And I show them Llama, and they can equate really well. Because you're trying to get rid of your cards, it's shedding, just like Uno is. In this one, you have the choice whether you draw or whether you play a card, which is slightly different. Uno, you play until you can't, and then you continue drawing until you can, which is kind of broken. But whatever. But this one is real simple. Numbers 1 through 6, and then there's Llama cards. On your turn, you look at the top card of the discard pile, whatever number it is, you can play a copy of that number, or exactly one higher. But whatever is higher than a 6, that's a Llama. So a Llama, you can play a Llama on top of a 6, and a 1 is considered higher than a Llama. So you can reset it by playing a 1 on top of a Llama. So your goal is to get rid of all your cards, because at the end of the round, the cards that are in your hand are worth that many points. So if it's a 5, it's worth 5 points. If it's a 4, it's worth 4 points. If it's a Llama, it's worth 10 points. Lowest score wins. Llamas suck. But what makes it exciting is that you only count one copy. So if I have 5 threes in my hand, I have 3 points. That ain't so bad. So the other option on your turn is you can just pass and score whatever you have. But if you get really excited and you're able to play all of your cards, and you just conveniently work it out then that ends the round immediately, and you return one of your chips, either a 1 point or a 10 point chip if you have it already. That's exciting. That's fun. The dice game works in a similar way, but I got it back to the table. Llama. I just love that game. It works so well. It's one of those games that you can play with anybody, and everyone's just like, grandma will be playing it. 10 minutes into the game, she'll be slapping down cards all confidently, just like, who knows, like, boom, there's a llama. What now, punk? And start talking trash.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it when little old ladies talk trash from a card game. It makes me truly happy inside.
We'll be talking about my Uno Killer a little later.
Yeah, but that's my next one that we've been playing, Llama. Or
All
now
right.
Don't Llama is the name of the...
All right, so I talked about Unmatched, Tales to Amaze. I've talked about, you've talked about the Magic Rabbits, I think is what it's called?
Yep.
There was 2 other games we played that night, and one of them...
It was okay.
Was okay.
Yeah.
But the next one I'm going to talk about, I actually really did enjoy. I liked what it did.
Mm-hmm.
I liked how the twist it had on deck building, and I love that it made people play their character. My character was all about attacking.
Yep.
Your character was all about support.
Yep.
So you were having to play as a support character, and I really did enjoy that. And that is Astro Knights, another 2023 game that we played.
Yep.
I didn't rate this a 10. I would probably give this an 8 if I had to give a score.
That's about right.
I liked what it did. It's a fun deck builder. It has any deck builder. If you're buying something, you're putting it on top of your deck. However, when you spend that money, you can put it on your discard pile however you want.
Yep.
But you're also fighting a big bad and trying to protect the homeworld. So you're trying to figure out how we mitigate this guy, dropping his health points down. The only way you can do that is by attacking him at the very start of your turn. So you need to have weapons down, and then you got to try to increase your weapon slot, how many weapons you can hold, how many power, your special ability, you need to increase that up. So you're like, all right, I got to spend this money to increase this, but I got to do this. Mm-hmm. And so you're like, yeah, go ahead and do that, because I'm going to send this to you since you're really big about fighting. So I'm going to put this on top of your discard pile here soon. And when it's all said and done, you don't shuffle your deck building. The only shuffling you do, and this is the biggest joke about this game, is the initiative.
This is shenanigans, honestly.
The only shuffling in a deck building of this caliber you do is the initiative cards.
The turn order. This game prides itself in the fact that you are building a deck of cards and building that engine, and you don't shuffle them, and your turn orders are random.
Yeah.
Due to shuffling. How dare... you just couldn't. You just had to have shuffling. You had to have that level of random in there.
And the thing
it's
is...
a deck builder, for goodness sake.
It's not even...
Shame on you,
it's not even that
Mr.
random.
Designer.
Because the character... Because, if you're the player... You take a card. It's player 1, player 2, player 3, player 4. And then, when the card comes up, you decide which 3 or 4...
So why random? Why? So, what happened... Daniel and our mutual friend Dom were players 1 and 2.
3 and 4. You were 1
3
and 2.
4. Me and our friend Gamehead Geek, we were 1 and 2. So the card 1/2, which looks like 1/2, honestly.
Yeah, 1/2, and then the other one 3/4.
We choose randomly which half of the table gets to choose who takes it. Why?
I think it's mainly just that this way the boss doesn't do it at the end of the turn. He just gets to go, and sometimes it's better for him to go in the beginning of the round or the middle of the round. It makes it more enthralling because you're sitting there like, oh god, especially this one. When we played it, it came down to the wire. We needed my card to come up for me to hit at least a certain amount. Right. And then this way we can clear this guy happening. This way we're not taking point damage. And then the very next card we needed was either the boss to show up. This way the minions we don't have to worry about firing because we just cleared them off. Or our mutual friend, Dom, I think he was the next one that needed to fire off. This way he could do the last of the damage. Because honestly, I was almost down. The planet was almost down. And you're having to mitigate how you have to attack the boss, heal the planet, heal yourself, and help everybody out. I know you were annoyed with the randomization.
No, I was not annoyed. I just found it incredibly ridiculous. It didn't bother me. It made sense. It's just so ridiculous. You couldn't figure out another system for it.
And the thing is, there's so many characters in there,
why
too.
Why couldn't it be, full random turn order instead of partially random You still shuffle it up. You still choose. Why couldn't it be if my card comes up, I discard a card and I can make somebody else take their turn and mine gets shuffled back in? Something like that, right?
Yeah,
like
I get it, but I think there's a lot of
it's like they're
convolution.
trying to justify not shuffling the deck.
Yeah, and
They're trying to
honestly,
make up
I
for
liked
it.
it because I like the way that deck building works. Is like
Yeah.
you just put the new card you bought into your discard pile.
Yeah.
Then you put your buy power cards on top of that in any order you want.
Yes.
Because when you're said and done, you just flip your discard pile over, and now that's your new draw deck.
See, even Creative Chaos is confused.
Yeah, no.
Now, don't get me wrong. As much guff as I'm giving it right now, it was still a really good game.
It was fun.
I do want to give it credit. It was fun.
It was a fun game.
It's worth it. I'm just... It just seems ridiculous, right?
What I really did like about this game, and
Yeah.
the reason why it scores so high for me,
Right.
is because it made you role play your character.
Yeah.
And not a lot of like deck buildings with theme
Right.
make you play your character. Like we talk about like Lost Ruins of Arnak, your characters have cool special abilities, but I don't really feel like I'm playing as the merchant or the
Right.
professor and stuff like that. I just have a little extra stuff I can do on my turn. This one, I am all about hitting. So if I'm going to buy cards out of the deck, I am going to buy weapons because I can hold 4 weapons at a time. Because I have our mutual friend Dom. He increased all my slots because he used his special power to increase my slots. So now I can hold 4 weapons. And you're like, I'm going to give you that weapon because for every other weapon you have, it's a +2. So basically, it becomes it's a 2 plus 2 for basically 2 times 2. So I was hitting for 8 damage every time I fire that gun. My special ability is I can use 2 of those weapons and not discard them. So on one turn, I hit like 20 damage to that character. So
no, I mean the game was good. It's like another comparison. Let's just make another comparison. Let's say you make a game that's like Monopoly, except they take out the random of how you move around, and it's pure strategy of which things you auction off. But right before the auction off of the property, you flip a coin, and that decides if you're part of the auction or not. It's like 2 steps forward, 1 back. You know what I mean?
it's not that big.
It's not that bad. It's really not. You all get to take your turns, and it adds some more excitement into it. I just find it funny that they just couldn't figure out another system than shuffling.
Honestly, I like the way that worked, just because I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
but
it
it
was
gives it a little bit of randomness too. It's no different than if we just rolled a d6. In all honesty.
Yeah.
But I just like the way that worked because that tension when the card gets flipped over. Please be me. Please be me. Please be me.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. No, it makes sense. It makes sense. All right. The last one I wanted to talk about today was a game that I got a few weeks ago that I wanted to talk about because it. I read this book recently.
Oh my God! You read a book?
Well, it's a manual.
Oh.
But it talks about like the theory on why the author thinks a game is good.
Oh yeah.
And
you could mention who. Well, no, because it's still in proof.
Yeah, it's still in proof right now, so I don't want to.
Yeah.
Say the information for it, but and it had some very interesting points that hopefully in the near future I'll elaborate on.
Mm-hmm.
But this game, when I saw it, I'm like, that's ridiculous. It seems completely absurd, and I think I'm gonna like it because of that. It's called You Lying Sack. And
you are a lying sack.
You Lying Sack. This is a game that was invented by Penn Jillette of Penn and Teller.
You have told me about this one, but you haven't talked about it.
Exploding Kittens publishes it. Now it's pretty inexpensive. It's like $20 at Walmart, and it comes with really good components. And inside of the bag, the premise of the bag is really simple. Or the game is that you have a sack full of a bunch of bad things and 1 good thing. Okay? Simple as that. And the whole premise of the game is you are lying to other people for no other reason other than the simple fun of lying. There's nothing bad about lying in this game. There's nothing good about lying. It's just you're lying for fun. And that's what it proposes to you. Do you want to lie now, or do you want to lie later? Do you want to lie to other people? It's up to you. This game gives you the opportunity to do it. So on your turn, it's real simple. You have a die that's in there, and it will tell you how many bad things you need to pull from the sack. So it might say 4. Now you don't want bad things, because if you get 10 bad things, you're eliminated. Okay? That's why they're bad. The good thing is good. If you get the good thing, you get rid of bad things. Makes sense, right? So on your turn, if that die says 4, I can either reach into the bag and pull out 4 bad things and hide them in my hand, or I can find the one good thing and hide them in my hand. Then I hold my fist, or I get to hold my fist above the table, and the player to my left gets to decide if they want whatever's in my hand or not. If they choose to take whatever's in my hand, they get whatever I took, whether it's bad things or good things. And then if they decline it, then it's the next person. If it comes back to me and everyone else does not want it, I get whatever's in my hand, whether it's good or bad. And you can feel the difference. Like, the bad things are these little foam triangles, and they're made out of, like, magicians will know what this is the sponge balls. Like, it's made out of, like, really hyper squishy foam. And so you could hide 10 bad things in your hand, no problem. And the rules do specify that. It's like, are people or are other players allowed to inspect every side of your hand? And they said, absolutely, but you're also allowed to move it away from them, too. It's like, no, you don't get to look at my... It's like, oh, okay. That's a really simple solution to that.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, they can look at it all they want, but you can also hide it from them, so who cares? And then the good thing is like this weird little rubbery rectangle. It's really weird. But you can definitely feel the difference. It's just shenanigans. You can say whatever you want. You could be like, oh, I totally took the bad things. Like, absolutely. Like, it's up to you if you want to take a break. And it's just one of those, like, pass play. It works really well. It's simple. I like it. Is it revolutionary? Absolutely not. But does that theme play? Oh, and by the way, there's a smirky face on the sack itself. Like, so, like, the box has, like the sack, like, yeah, you lying sack, and it looks all smarmy. And they printed it on the bag. The components are really good for this.
Nice.
Especially for $20. It's cool. I like it. It's not revolutionary. Pendulette, as far as anything outside of Magic, is not exactly, groundbreaking. But the fact that I know that this was made by a magician, I was already tuned in because I wanted to play something from a magician, because I always do. And the fact that it promised on what it was offering worked really well. Good to play with kids, good to play with families. Absolutely hilarious when you have those moments like where you pass around like, nope, you took the bad things, and I have a good thing, and now I'm getting rid of my bad things. It's hilarious. I like it. It works really well.
Nice.
You lying sack.
All right, you ready to start getting into our stocking
Pretty
stuffers?
soon. I want to give a quick shout out.
Oh, speaking of which, I need to give a shout out too. So.
Yeah, our friends at Thing 12 Games. They are currently running a Kickstarter. They did not pay us to do this. They are not a sponsor in any way. I just want to point this out because they pretty much exclusively go through Kickstarter. They try to publish.
They're a small
great
company.
Games. They're a small company. They are running a game right now on Kickstarter called Puppy Pile. We brought it up in previous episodes. Right now, there's 12 days remaining as of this filming, and it's only a little bit over half. It's like 57%. The game is $18. Really. Like, there's no reason you shouldn't go back it. It's simple enough. It looks fun. It looks like guillotine, honestly, and how it works. You don't want to be the puppy on the top of the pile.
Yeah. So
you're trying to change your turn or change your order and all that stuff, and you have a secret identity. If you make it super obvious, then people will figure out what you are and put you on top of the pile, and therefore you'll be eliminated. Don't do that. Puppy Pile, crazy adorable art. Daniel's being kind enough to post this in the chat. Please just go support them. Throw some bucks at them. Tell people about it. Do what you can.
It's really
Please help us get this funded.
It's like $16. So.
Yeah, it's 18.
18.
Yeah, it's not expensive. Good components. Adorable art. Like super cute puppies. Like, seriously, there's no reason you can't go back it, so please go do that.
Yeah, and they're just pushing. It would be nice. We're biased. We really like the Seans over at Thing 12.
Yeah, they're great people.
So, yeah, help them out if you can.
And your shout-out?
Oh, my shout-out. Shout-out to I3. They're still doing the Bullet Kickstarter, I think, for a few more days, so... go check them out if you're into it. I really do enjoy Bullet a lot.
Yeah.
But the one I want to shout out real quick is my wife travels for her job. She's in Olympia, Washington right now. So right now. She found a comic shop that's like right down the road from where she's staying. They are also a board game shop.
Okay.
That's called Gabby's Olympic Card and Comics. This place was massive.
Yeah?
Yeah, she was video calling me while she was there looking at different stuff because she was trying to get like ideas for stocking stuffers and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I'm like, all right. They had a lot, it's all alphabetical. So they have like their small games over here. That's also with their card games, and then you go to this aisle over here. There's like 4 aisles. Those are their bid games, and they're alphabetized. So
Oh.
yeah, she was like, you could spend hours in here, and I'm like looking at everything she's showing on the shelf and stuff like that.
And you're asking her, please spend hours in there.
Yeah, no, yes. Well, she had basically an hour to kill, because they were going to close at 6.
Oh.
So yeah, it was really really cool. Honestly, I was jealous. I'm like, man, this store was amazing.
Yes.
Because like from everything I saw, there's actually 2 stories. Upstairs was where they had their gaming tables.
Oh, that's cool.
So they had like their library, gaming tables up there. You had your downstairs, which had the game room, all their D&D stuff. They had space for comics and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it's about the size of, from what I've seen of videos of like Noble Night up in Minnesota.
Oh, wow.
How big it is. It was massive, and there was a lot in there. She's like, okay, I have ideas for stocking stuffers. I hope one of the games that I asked her to pick up, I hope she did get it for a stocking stuffer, because that one is kind of hard to find unless you go online to do it.
You mind me asking what it is, or is it on your list?
It's not on my list. It is Conspiracy. It's the card game of Abyss.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, they have that one there. So I told her that, and I gave her a few others like Similo and.
Oh yeah, Similo.
I actually was having a look for the all play games that were just coming out, but they're not going to be in stores till January.
Yeah. For sake of time, I purposely didn't look through any of my games that were in that little container list.
Neither did I. Well, I knew some of them were in those.
Similo would be a great stocking stuffer.
Yeah, so I have those in the containers in my thing. Like, there's a few that are in my stocking because I take them out of the box, but I leave the boxes in there. This way, just somewhere down the line, if I do want to trade them in, I still have the boxes to trade them in.
That makes sense. Cool.
And so I was like, wait, I know where these boxes is. Okay, this is going in. So yeah, they were in there.
All right. Very cool. Yeah, no, that's we'll Google it when we're done.
Yeah, I'll show it to you when we're done. But yeah, no, that place was really cool. From the video chat, I could just imagine how massive it looked from her being in there, and like her being overwhelmed because she's not really into board gaming like I would, and I would have been overwhelmed just because I'm like, oh man, I can spend thousands in here.
Right. All right, real quick, our honorable mentions from the chat, if you don't mind scrolling up for me real quick. Illuminus said a couple more that are worth bringing up. We said these earlier: Scout, Arboretum, Love Letter, Curie, Smug Owls. Illuminus also said Hive Pocket and Mindbug as well. Both ones. I own a copy of Hive Pocket. I actually thought about putting it on this one. And Mindbug looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, I do want to try Mindbug. I just haven't picked it up.
And then, was there any others that were recommended as well?
Right there.
Yeah, Trails. All right, so you want to get into this?
Let's get into this. Quick honorable mention real quick, just because I couldn't find the box to put it in my stocking. My honorable mention is Ghost of Christmas. We talked about it during the top 8 debate. We really did enjoy that game. So
I flipped the coin of doom onto the floor and honorable mention. Nope, there it goes.
I told you I was going to do that.
Yep. No, I don't disagree. All right. Anyway, back to it. Here we go. Let us begin. That'll be me.
Yeah.
In no particular order, though. I wanted to agree. First off, this one right up top here. Here we go. Trails, as brought up by Illuminus. I couldn't agree more. Trails, fantastic game. Good in depth. Resource management. A lot of good fun. Uses a really smart movement system. It's kind of worker placement-esque, where you follow on the trail, go back, go over a series of rounds.
It's more like a ratchet system.
A ratchet system. You move kind of as far as you want. Well, this you move 1 or 2 spaces, and you can expend your campfire to move as far as you want. Whereas parks, you move as far as you want.
No, as far as you as far as you want, but you can never go back.
Right, and then but if you want to land on the same spot as somebody else, you have to use your campfire. But great components in this. I absolutely love it. Wonderful art, and they were selling this for I want to say $20.
Yeah, I mean. And the thing is, you can find that in like your FLGS, Barnes and Nobles, Target has it.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. I absolutely adore this game. I completely agree. This is the biggest game that I have in this. But yeah, oh my goodness, so fantastic. Trails, couldn't from Keymaster Games. Highly recommend this game. Great stocking stuffer.
That's a good pick.
For the serious gamer.
For the serious gamer, yeah.
That's right.
Speaking of the serious gamer, my first pick here, I can't put it in the stocking. All of mine don't fit too well in there. But my first pick here is Cat in the Box. I do like this one a lot.
Mm-hmm.
This is the deluxe edition. I don't think they sell anything other than deluxe edition.
I don't think so either. I think the original Japanese was the non-deluxe.
Yeah, and then they also have the Colossal Cat in the Box that they just did on Kickstarter.
Which is not a stocking stuffer.
And it's not a stocking stuffer.
Yeah.
But I do like this game a lot. I love trick-taking games.
You do.
When we were talking about Ghost of Christmas, how we want it to be the Tiny Tim variant all the time when you're playing it because the bidding is okay, but it's not great.
Yeah.
I love the bidding in this one. Because
yeah.
if you get your bid, you get bonus, basically scoring on the little, based on your grouping in a track. But you still get a point for every trick you make, even if you don't score your bid.
Absolutely.
The twist of this one, which I really love, there's no suits in this thing. You make your suits in it. What are you looking for?
I'm looking for a game if I can stick it out and put my games on top of it.
No doing that.
I'm just saying if it would make sense. All right.
But anyways, Cat in the Box, it's a fun little trick-taking game, like I was saying. I love that little twist of it where there's no suits, you make the suit. So if Danny's over here leading, he's like, I'm going to lead a 2 blue. All right, well, now I have to play in blue based on my suit. But again, there's no suits. I just have to play a number.
Mm-hmm.
The catch is I can't play a 2. That has been played. So I'm like, you know what? I don't have, like, really a possibility to beat his 2 blue, even though it's so low.
Right.
Because I only have 2s in my hand. Maybe I'll play a 2 trump. But now I don't have blue suits no matter what in my hand.
Yep.
So it's like that little push and pull of you trying to determine, do I just keep going in this trick to try to win the trick? Or...
Yeah.
But there comes to a point when you're getting closer to the end, when you're playing things out, where you're like, oh, I hope I don't score a paradox. Because if I only have this 2, and I already said I can't do blues, and all the other 2s have been taken, the yellows, the red, and the green...
Right.
Well, then I'm kind of screwed now, aren't I? And then I'm going to create a paradox because there's more numbers than there is suits, per se. And so, like, you could have 5 2s. All the 2s are taken, so here's my paradox here. So I do love the way this game works. It's got great components in there. And I just love that little twist of trick-taking. I love fun trick-taking. This is a good bidding trick-taking game because you're not punished for not making your bid. You still just get rewarded.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. All right, on to our number 2.
Or you mean 7?
Number 7.
To you again.
All right, next one. Let's reach into the stocking and show what I brought. I brought Let's Dig for Treasure. Stephen Rhodes game. Great little card game. This one is probably the second biggest box, which is why it's on the top. This is a great little, like, press your luck, silly, fun game. If you like this demented style of cartoons, caveat, yeah. I mean, if this isn't going to be for everyone. It's a dark humor. You're digging in a cemetery, but that's why it's so silly. Honestly, any of these Stephen Rhodes games are pretty great for.
My short list was Let's Summon Demons.
Yeah. I actually thought about bringing that one, but I wanted a slightly smaller box to fit in my stocking. This one is great, and I like this one best, not so much as a game, but for this pick, just because I like being able to literally hand it out, deal out 3 stacks of cards, and go, draw a card. Do what it says. That's the teach.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It's
Creative
pretty
Chaos,
neat.
you would like this game.
Yeah, no, they're really cool games. The ones I've played, I've only played 2. I have the 3rd one still. I haven't played Don't Talk to Strangers. But
it's okay.
I do prefer Let's Summon Demons.
Yes.
I just love the fun aspect of it. But again, if it's not for everyone. That's why it didn't make my list.
Yep, I think this kind of humor is for everybody.
All right,
and
so
I stand by it.
My next pick here is a game that I enjoy playing a lot. You're basically just playing 7 cards out of your hand, but you're trying to make the best 7 cards to score yourself the most points. I specifically picked the one I enjoy the most, but it actually comes into 3 different games. I haven't played one of the 3, but that is my pick is Marvel Remix. But you can get Fantasy Realms, and I think it's like Star Trek Missions or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it's called. But It's basically you have a deck of cards. You're trying to make the best hands. You're basically drawing a card either from the face-up discard pile, and it's basically in a line. This way you can look at them all, because when the 10th card goes into the discard pile, that ends the game, and then you score your hand. You're trying to make the best hand because certain cards need certain tags, or it needs a certain other card, or with the Marvel Remix, I need certain tags for I can flip a card over and be the alter ego. So like I have Bruce Banner and I have Gamma tags in my hand, I can flip it over and he becomes the Hulk now, and it's going to score me more points. Same thing with She-Hulk. But the caveat with this one, with Fantasy Realm, you're just trying to get your 7 cards and score your best 7.
Yeah.
This one is you need to have a villain for sure in your hand, and they are mostly negative points unless you reach certain requirements on it. End, you need to have either an ally or a hero in your hand, because if you don't have either one of those two or a villain, you get 0 points, and you're basically out of the running. So it's like that little push and pull, like, ooh, do I discard this, or do I just try to mitigate how this works? Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't.
Yep.
I really do enjoy this series of games. Fantasy Realms is another good one, which is really well done. I haven't tried the Star Trek one. I heard mixed things about that one, but it's all it's your pick your poison.
Yeah, exactly. I prefer the fantasy one just because I don't care about superheroes. Viewers of the podcast know that already, but that is a solid one.
Yeah.
Good choice. All right, our number 6. All right, that's me again. All right, ignore the fact that we looked on the floor. That was just merely by chance. I definitely didn't drop it this time. Don't worry about this guy picking up anything from the floor. Oh, hey, look, I found... See, I picked it up. No problem. All right, my next game right here is a game from Looney Labs. This is... Ooh, that's going to sound great on the microphone.
Oh, yeah.
This is Martian Chess. Here we go. I'll get the glare a little bit. This is an abstract strategy, pure strategy game from Looney Labs using their pyramid system. This box comes with not only the board, but all 12 pieces that you're going to need to play. They do slot in, and the rules in a tiny little box. This, again, was being sold for like 15 or 20 bucks at Barnes for the longest time. It is available. This was a little harder to find than the other ones, but it is still available. I confirmed from a few different websites. And this is personally my favorite take on this style of game. I'm garbage at chess, but I like the way this works because there's only one color of pieces. And the way you dictate which piece is yours is which side of the board it's on. So it's like a domino board. It's a 4x8, so it's half of a chessboard. I get one half, you get the other half that's sitting across from me. And if I move a single piece, I can move it one piece diagonal, or one space diagonally. And if it so happens to cross the boundary into your spot, into a piece that you currently control, I gain that as points. And the size is how many points it's worth. So 1, 2, or 3. The second one moves like a rook. It can move in a straight line up to 2 spaces. Or it's called a drone is I think what they call it here. And then the big pieces count effectively like a queen. You can move them as far as you want. But again, when it jumps over that boundary and captures a piece, that then becomes theirs. Or becomes yours for points. Which it makes a lot of sense how it works once you get the hang of it. There's a lot of depth for it. I've played this with the designer of it, and I still love it. It's so good. He destroyed me.
Oh, of course.
Of course, and as he should have. And it just stands up on its own. This was also part of the Pyramid Arcade, and they've made other versions of this as well, but this is like the standalone, quick little, I can buy this for 20 bucks version. Martian Chess.
Nice. My number 6, and this is the one I was telling you about. It's a bit cheaty. In fact, the one I put for myself is not the one I'm going to show, because I don't know where I put the one for myself. I don't know exactly where it's at in this room right now. I have to clean out the room, so. But the one I picked here is Tiny Epic Dungeons. My pick is specifically Quest, because that's my favorite one. This is on my shelf of shame. I haven't even played this one yet, so I don't know. This might move above
You might
that.
fix that soon.
Yeah, exactly. But any of the Tiny Epics will work. It's just pick your gamer. Because there is co-ops. If you got a person who's into zombies, there's a zombie version. If you like someone who likes Vikings, there's a Vikings version.
Yep.
There's a crime version now. There is a Western, which don't really worry about that one.
Yeah.
But Quest
you
is
can skip that one.
Quest is fun, and if you got someone who likes the Zelda-y type games.
Cool.
This one's a dungeon crawl, so if you have someone who likes dungeon crawl. So Tiny Epic just across the board. They even have ultra tiny galaxies where it's a little space
and
game.
Kingdoms.
In Kingdoms, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Kingdoms is another good one where it's like the medieval theme where you're basically protecting the. No, Tiny Epic Defenders is the one where you're protecting the kingdom.
Yeah, that's the cooperative one.
That one's really good. So there's a lot of good versions of it. They're easily replayable. A lot of these, like, I couldn't even fit the expansion in here. In fact, I have to use both boxes because they're
dense.
Very dense games.
Yes.
This one is the first Tiny Epic with miniatures.
Yes.
Others have meeples. They created a whole new type of meeple because in Quest they can hold weapons now.
Yes.
So yeah, any Tiny Epic
little
works.
3D weapons that you attach to the meeple. They're called item meeples.
So yeah,
and,
it's well done.
Yeah, it's basically Tiny Epic Quest is Zelda Overworld.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're looking down on the overworld, you're able to move around in different ways and interact with all the different stuff that's on it. Really look into it, it's pretty cool.
And you go into quests, like into dungeons and stuff like that, because you try to get like special weapons and abilities and stuff like that. So
I want to say last time I played this, I actually played the Zelda soundtrack over it because it fits perfectly.
The Quest is my favorite still.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this might be up there too because it's just my kind of thing. This is another co-op. There's Defenders and now this one.
Yep.
But I think the Zombies has a co-op mode as well.
I think so. Yeah, that has one versus all, co-op, or versus something like that. Survival.
So yeah, it's this is my catch-all. Any of the Tiny Epics will work. You can find them in most of the stores.
Yep.
Most of the ones. In fact, you can find all of them on the Tiny Gameland Games website.
Yep.
I did check that. They're like all of them are on there, and you can get the deluxe versions, which I have.
Cool. Awesome. Good choice. Number 5. Hey, I actually got it.
I get to start. We've been
That's
doing
been heads. We've been backwards this whole time.
We've been backwards this whole time.
That's all right. We'll stick to it.
All right. So this one is the one of the 2 Christmas games I have put in the stocking stuffers.
Oh. Okay.
This is actually one of the recent ones, and we talked about it last week. This is my favorite Christmas movie, based on my favorite Christmas movie. This is Muppets Christmas Carol, the card game Spirit of Giving. It is a fun little game. I really, really did enjoy this one a lot when we played it. My wife really enjoyed it. I love the artwork on it because, again, I love the Muppets. Mm-hmm. It's one of my favorite things growing up. Like, Muppet Babies was my go-to show when I was younger.
Muppet Babies was pretty good.
Beaker's one of my favorite characters. Rizzo the Rat's one of my favorite characters. I just love everything about the Muppets. And so when they hey, we're making a game based off Christmas Carol, I'm like, yes, I am all in on that one. I found out it was on Amazon. That was the only place you can find it. I bought it right then and there, and I've already played it.
Which I did find a copy of that for sale in the wild.
Nice. But at the time when it came out, because it came out in November, it was only on Amazon.
Yes.
So I bought it. I bought also another little Funko game with it. But yeah, this one really went down really well. This is probably going to stay in my collection as nice little go-to Christmas game. It's very simple. You have a set of 3 cards. 2 are face up, 1 is set down, and it's all about giving. So on your turn, you do one of the 4 plaques. At the time being, it's only 1 plaque at a time until you go through a certain part of the deck. Mm-hmm. And you can either finish off one of your decks. However, if you do, you don't get to look at the points that you're grabbing because there's gifts in the middle. You don't get to look at it. You just pull it. It's blind. And it's 1 to 4, I think, is what the point total is. It could be more than that, but I can't remember. I think it's 1 to 4. But when you get further along the lines, if you finish someone else's quest, you get to look at 2 of the gifts and choose which one you keep and give to the other person who finished their thing. So you're scoring, you get some information of what you're scoring. So it's really good about finishing someone other's abilities. And I'm trying to remember, because the 3, I know the Scrooge player, he allows you to draw from the pile, the draw deck, and you get to use it on someone else's card. Basically replace someone's card. Ghost Past allows you to draw the top card from the discard pile. I'm just trying to remember, because I know there was 2 that let you swap. So, so Ghost of Present is the one that lets you swap.
Sure.
So you get to do, okay, I'm going to take my friend Angel's card and I'm going to move it over here to my wife's. This way I can complete her set, because I know this will work over here because of the 2 face-up ones. The Ghost of the Future allows you to point at someone's face down card. They flip it up. They show what they have there. They flip it face back down, and then you choose one of the other ghost powers.
Very cool.
So it plays really, really well. I did enjoy this a lot. This is The Muppet Christmas Carol: Spirit of Giving.
I love it. All right, my number 5 right here, reaching into the stocking. It is my 2-player pick. I thought about putting Jaipur on this list, but I chose this one instead.
That was on my short list, but I don't have that.
Hanamakoji. Yeah, because this is just in a great little small box. A lot of game for it. It's one of the smartest games that I've personally ever played.
I enjoyed playing it when we did. We played that in Vegas.
Yeah, and I every time I bust this out, I just want to play it again. It's real simple. You have a certain number of cards. You're trying to get majorities in them at the end of every round to pull like the influence tokens towards you. If you get a certain number of influence tokens on your side, you win. Or if you control a certain power amount of them, you win as well.
Okay.
Each of the things work differently, but it's kind of like a 2-player I split you choose mechanism. Each round plays over 4 turns. Each turn, you will choose either to lay down some cards face down, let the other players pick, or split 2, or give them one, or just take one, put it down and reserve it. Guarantee that's yours. Yeah, and Masmo, thanks for joining us. Forgive me if I mispronounce that, but welcome. And I just adore this game. This fits perfectly, as you saw, in the stocking. This is a regulation stocking size, and it fit, it's quite snugly in there. It was great.
Yep.
I was able to put Martian chess right in front of it. And I'm never going to get rid of this game. This is a fantastic little 15-minute... When was the last time you played this, by the way?
When we were in Vegas. We were coming back from Reno, so 2022.
So 2022. Okay. So that wasn't too far.
Yeah, it wasn't too long.
Long enough, though. Hanamakoji, I couldn't say enough good things about it. But, yeah, love this game. That's my number 5.
All right, we're going into our number 4s, and now I get to pull out of my stocking.
Should we stick to the same method that we've been doing, or...?
Yeah, go back to what it's supposed to be.
Go back to what it's supposed to be?
So you.
Alright, so me. My number 5, right on in here.
You're supposed to control the coin to do.
I know. See, we've changed up the coins, and that's the shenanigan part. But either way, my number 5, here we go, reaching into my number 4. I have a feeling this is going to be on another list. Fantastic little card game. Illuminous brought this up earlier. One of our regulars. Yes, I couldn't agree more. Super compact, super simple, great card game. We've talked about this a lot. Yes, I mean there's a lot more going into it than
but it's still card shedding like Uno does.
Yes, it is card shedding. The way you play this game is quite simple. This is Scout, by the way.
Yeah.
From Oink Games. By the way, did you notice I'm picking different publishers for all of mine as well? And I think I stick with that. This is from Oink Games. The way this game works is simple. Everyone has double-sided cards. One side will have one value, one will have the other. And in your hand, you cannot change the order of the cards. At the beginning of each hand, you get to choose which side, but you do not change the order of them. What you're trying to do is you're trying to play cards in either a run or of a kind. If you play that, then you can play better cards than the previous player. That's called showing. So let's say you put down a pair of 5s, I can play a pair of 6 or 7s, 8s, 9s, or 10s, or I can play any 3-card set. So I could do like 3 2s. That would beat it. Anything with more cards automatically beats it. Yeah, or 1 2 3. That's how this works. It's quite simple. Or if you cannot play or choose not to play, which is a very valuable strategy, you can then take whoever's card everyone's going off of, your 2 pairs of 5s. Let's say I have a 5 in my hand that would work really well with. I could take one of your 5s and put them in my hand on either side.
And the thing about you have to remember is that when you're taking the 5s, so if I play 3 5s out there, you either have to take the left or the right. So
the left or the right.
If I played a 3 4 5, you have to take the 3 or the 5.
Yeah, not the 4. But again, you choose which side it goes in, and you slot it into your hand wherever you think it goes. And the part that makes it so unique is the fact that his pair of 5s now becomes a 5. So you have to beat it with any single card or higher, or a pair, or 2 in a run. It's so smart, because if it comes back to him, that's when everyone scores, which you don't want to happen, but you could kind of press your luck. You could take a card and go, okay, well, you could deal with it. Or everyone has also a token called, or a little wagon token that lets them shout and show. Scout and school.
Scout and show.
Yeah, scout and show on the same turn. goodness, this game is so good. I cannot recommend this one enough. Definitely go check it out, Scott.
All right, so my number 4.
Your number 4.
Our first crossover on here. This one is Trails.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. When I saw you bust it out, I'm like, interesting. Like I said, it's a fun game that comes in this little small package. It does really, really well. You mentioned it earlier. Very beautiful art in this game.
Yep.
I love the way the mechanism works, where you can go 1 to 2 spots. Unless you're playing your tent, that allows you to go further. You're basically just trying to complete sets, be the first one to complete certain sets, get special goals and stuff like that. It's a smaller version of Parks. It plays uniquely and different than Parks, but if Parks can play a long time, this one is a much quicker version of it if you just need that little itch to be scratched, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But yeah, it's so good. I don't really want to hark on it more than what you've already said, but it's a phenomenal game.
Cool. All right. On to our next one. I'm actually writing down the remainder of my list by feeling the cards, or feeling it, just to see if I can remember it. All right, off to you.
All right, so my next game here, my number 3, is a relatively new game. I think it is 2023. I really did enjoy this one. I don't know how you felt about it. I think you just found it like a fine game.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, I love the art on it. It's called Sea Salt and Paper.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
It's from one of my favorite designers, Bruno Cathala. I think this is also with, I want to say...
It's another
Riviere, French designer. It's a real simple game. You're going to have a set of cards. You're basically trying to score. You're trying to make up to 7 points, and then you can decide if you want to stop. Or do you think you have more points than all the other players, and you could say one more turn?
Yeah.
And what you're doing is you're either taking a card off the top or one of the cards off the 2 discard piles. And then once you do that, you can decide to play if you have duo cards. So say like I'm trying to get crabs or a shark and a swimmer. They'll have special abilities depending on which duo you play. Yep. So which one you put down allows you to do something. So I think crabs allow you to take from one of the discard piles. If you have all mermaids at the end of the scoring, that's it. You win the game no matter what. You play 4 mermaids, you win. But yeah, no, I love the way this worked. The art is so gorgeous on this one. It's basically just screen captures or origami art. But I mean, just look at this, like a little boat in Tsunami based off origami papers. It's a little washed out, but yeah, it is just phenomenally done. I enjoy this game a lot.
Cool. My number 3, this is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you kind of referenced this game earlier, and we do technically have a crossover now. I pulled out Ultra Tiny Epic Galaxies. So they jammed a lot of game into their Tiny Epic series. I mean, like, it's a great production in a fairly small box. They decided, why not make an even smaller version? I think this is like $12 or $16 new of their Galaxy version, which is a dice game. This is one of the few that they could do this with. They made Ultra Tiny Epic Kingdoms and Galaxies.
Yep.
And this is one of the few that fit perfectly in this. An even smaller game of Intergalactic Conquest by Scott Alms. I like this one. This is my second favorite Tiny Epic game. My favorite being Defenders, but they did not make an Ultra Tiny Epic version of that. I thought that since this is in a tiny touch box...
Honestly, they really can't with that one.
I really don't think they could. But I do want to point out right here, we have some tokens, but more specifically, in these little wooden cubes, are the dice as well. Mm-hmm. You're actually rolling the dice to try and get the benefits of what you need, which is honestly kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, Galaxies is up there for me on the Tiny Epic side.
Yeah.
Quest is my favorite. I think Dungeons will probably be up there. I don't like Western all that much.
Yeah.
I did enjoy the Viking one.
Maybe one of these days we'll play them all. We'll do a game day for this as well. Just like we did
with
Phil Walker Hardy games. We'll do the Tiny Epics one day. That would be really fun.
Cool.
But Tiny Epic Galaxies, Ultra Tiny Epic Galaxies, this is my number 3. Great stocking stuffer. Off to our next one.
It wasn't too bad. I did enjoy Tiny Epic Dinosaurs. It's not my favorite dinosaur game. But it was still fun.
Yeah, it was good. I was actually expecting to like it a lot more than I did. Yeah. But it was good.
It's middle of the road when it comes to the Tiny Epic stuff.
Sure. Yeah. I agree with that. All right, on to our next one. Number 2s.
Number 2s.
That'll be you.
All right, my number 2 is the other Christmas game on the list. It took a run in our top 8 debate. This is one of my favorite Christmas games, and it's one of my go-to Christmas games now, and that is Holly Jolly.
Ah, yes. Of course, you would have a holiday game in the holiday stocking.
Yeah, but Holly Jolly is just even you said last week it's shot up on your Christmas list just because of the simple fact that it does give you that kind of Christmas spirit because you're trimming a tree, you're putting ornaments on the tree, you're getting presents. It's set collection. It does a lot of good things. This is a game that you can bust out and play with grandma, and it won't be hard for her to understand. This is a nice family-friendly game about trimming a tree and getting gifts off of it. So I do love this game. Holly Jolly plays really well. It is one of the best holiday games I've played so far. Out of all the games I played during like Christmas time and stuff like that. And you and me like to play games when it comes to specific holidays. So we like to bust out like some of the horror games for Halloween. Yeah. And so we're talking about stuff like this for Christmas. There's another one like right behind me there that I want to get to the table. I just got my copy of it, Santa Workshop. I love that feeling of really getting into the spirit and using gamings for it too.
That's right. All right. And my number 2 is one, now I'm getting into the tiny ones. Mm-hmm. So we are using, government issued, standard regulation, ISO stockings, standard size stocking. No, I don't know what I'm even saying. Yeah. Oh yeah, Ghost of Christmas is not a grandma game.
That's on my honorable mentions because I couldn't find the actual box. I keep my small card games in the photo cases.
If grandma's a shrewd
rook player or something,
plays bridge. If she's a bridge player,
she probably
then maybe.
Yeah.
But that's a grandma game. So right here, I wanted to pick one that would fit into, because some people have really tiny stockings,
Yeah.
They just have it. So I wanted a game that would fit in the tiniest of stockings, and that is Sprawlopolis. This is from Button Shy Games. This is 18 cards.
I wondered if one of those were in your...
Yeah. It just makes sense. This is literally 18 cards, and the rule book fits inside of this little tiny wallet. This is a solo game. It's technically 2 players as well, but really it's solo. And I'm sure some people disagree with that, but I don't. But this one is really kind of cool. You have this grid of different cards, different terrain types that are spread among 16 cards. I don't think you'll be able to see that. There we go. And these grids that are on here, some of them have roads, some of them have other little features that are on it as well. You can see the road kind of going through the angle there. You pick 3 of them at random and you deal them on their backsides, which is what kind of scoring system you're going for. You're trying to get the highest score that you can by setting these cards next to each other or overlapping them in one way or another. Roads you kind of want to have connected to other roads if possible, but depending on your situation here and how you score, that can change as well. Cool little puzzle. Every time it's unique. I like how the backs of every single one of these cards is unique, and you can kind of play off of that idea. Even if you know which cards work for which ones, you still won't know which of the cards you're pulling from the deck in order to do this. You have normally 3 to choose from at the time.
Yeah.
This works really well. Most Button Shy games are good stocking stuffers, but this is one of their highest rated games, if not the highest rated. So, Sprawlopolis, couldn't agree more on this.
All right, moving on number 1, so don't even flip the coin. It's already been mentioned. My number 1 is Scout. I do like this game a lot. Like I said, it's my Uno killer. I love the card shedding aspect of it too.
Yeah.
The fact that you're okay. How do I do this? How do I play it? Is that now the time? Now that I'm going to show in Scout, I can take that card there and make this massive set here where I'm throwing 4 cards out there, and basically empty my hand now that I have this 3rd card out there, which. Say it's 4 cards there. I take this one over here. Now I got 4 cards in my hand, which means I can beat the 3 cards that are sitting out there. And that card now makes it bigger than what the number there is. That I really do like a lot with this Scout game. I think it's really well done. Honestly, that was the first thing I knew that was going in my stocking. Because this size is perfect.
Yes.
Oink games in general are perfect for this. This is my favorite Oink game. There's only one other Oink game I really kind of like, and that is Deep Sea Adventure.
Yeah.
So Scout, yeah.
Awesome. And we're going to play a really quick game right before my number 1. And Daniel, What kid doesn't like trying to guess their present right before? What's in their stocking? By doing this. First one, we've never played Insider. I have played the Bezier games that's really similar to it. Daniel, just judging by the look of this, take a guess what it is. And it's okay if you don't get it because I'm going to give you another hint here in a minute.
You can't even tell what it is. I don't think it's going to be a box like this. It's probably something closer to Sprawlopolis than anything.
Okay. Go ahead and feel how heavy it is. Don't shake it too hard because we're going to shake it down the next one. Can you tell how heavy it is?
Yeah, it's not that heavy at all. It barely fills the stocking.
Yeah. So have any guess yet?
Mm-mm.
All right, here we go. I'm going to give it one shake. Ready?
That tells me nothing. Again, tells me nothing.
No, let's get... All right. Give it a feel now. Give it a feel. Try and guess.
I don't know.
You're no fun. Is this how you are in Christmas too? All right, here we go.
No, I'm not. I'd rather unwrap the gift and enjoy it instead of playing. Oh, what did I get? I never did that as a kid.
This makes a fun popper sound.
No, not to the mic.
All right, so Massimo, I could have put it. I thought about bringing a deck of cards, but I decided not to. This is Dice of Crowns. From my friends over at Thing 12. Again, we talked about them earlier. This is Dice of Crowns. This is their 6-player party game. 2 to 6 player party game. Battle for the Crown. Great pieces. Has some great custom tokens in here. 7 custom dice. And a really awesome crown token, which is absolutely fantastic. All of this fits perfectly inside of this little metal tin. It doesn't get much better than this as far as stocking stuffers go. This works really well. It's a fun little, quick little game where you're going to be rolling some dice, backstabbing each other, sending out scrolls. They might backstab you on your own turn. Hilarious, fun game. I like it a lot. Tiny Dice of Crowns.
Sorry for our headphone speakers with him shaking that like right at the mic.
Actually, I was crunching the tin a little bit. So that was my number.
Literally, when you're like, I'm like,
Yeah. All right, if you're listening with headphones, for one, I apologize. But two, comment below on whether your ears are hurting right now. And comment below if you bought any of these as stocking stuffers for you or your family or friends. Fantastic collection of games to choose from.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I had another short list right there.
Oh, yeah, I had some short lists, too. Jaipur was one of them. Llama actually was one
I'm
as well.
surprised Jaipur was not on your list.
The box, I was thinking between the box of this and Jaipur. I also thought about the Unlock series, and Echoes was another one.
Yeah, my only reason I didn't go with the Unlock series is because of the fact that Unlocked itself, they don't really sell them in the small boxes anymore.
Right.
It's a 3-pack in the big boxes.
And that's one of the reasons I didn't.
Yeah. The short list on mine, like I said, was Ghost of Christmas. And it's just because I couldn't find my box or any of like the really fun all-play games.
Yeah.
Fox in the Forest was on my short list because I love the little 2-player.
I thought you were going to put Dice Stone on your short list. I'm like, that's not.
No, that wouldn't fit. But no, it was Fox in the Forest there. There's a couple others. You mentioned one earlier. I can't remember what it was. That was on my short list. Which one was it?
Yeah, I thought about Happy Salmon because they used to sell it in a pouch that fit perfectly.
Honestly,
their box isn't too bad.
Yeah, the box is about the size of Mantis, so it would fit.
Yeah, it's just right on that level where it's just like a little uncomfortably large.
Yeah, and then another thing too is I wanted to put some holiday games in there too because it's a stocking stuffer stuff. That's why I went with those two. Ghost of Christmas would have made it as well, just because they're just fun games.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah, well, there's a whole slew of games that could have fit. I thought about Guillotine as well. I'm surprised you don't have Archaeology or Silver and Gold on your list.
I was thinking about them. Honestly, they were on my short list. Archaeology's somewhere in that closet over there. I couldn't find the box. It was on my short list, but I was like, as much as I love that game, it just wouldn't work compared to how these ones play. Because I wanted to get like something different. You know what I mean? Yeah. Archaeology is basically on a lot of my lists.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. Cool. Honestly, there was no Footwalker Hoarding on my list here.
There wasn't. Neither on mine. Mine was a different publisher every single time, though.
Same.
Yeah. Cool deal. All right. So, if you enjoyed that episode, please, by all means, join us on a live episode like our friends. Let's see if I can list them all off. So Very Wrong About Games, Creative Chaos, Illuminous, I3, Sora, a new friend, Massimo. Thanks for joining us. And anybody else who tuned in for us, if you want to watch us live, please join us at twitch.tv/everydayboardgames, where you can watch us and comment while we are filming our episode.
As well as all video re-uploads are found on YouTube under youtube.com/@everydayboardgamespodcast. And if you like what we do, there are 3 things you can do to help us grow on that platform. Subscribe if you're not, like the video, and comment down below and tell us your thoughts on the subject.
And if you want to ever contact us directly, whether it is to say hello, to enter in future contests, wink wink, or to just give us ideas for future episodes, email us at everydayboardgames2020@gmail.com.
As well as all audio versions can be found on most podcast platforms under Everyday Board Games Podcast. This includes Spotify, Google, Amazon Music, Podbean, and now Apple.
So we want to thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I've been your host, Daniel.
And I've been your host, Daniel.
And we want to thank you for listening to Everyday Board Games.
And remember, every day is a good day for board gaming.